Hello everyone, so happy to join you today and thank you so much to MBDA for the kind invitation to speak to you all. I'd like to begin by recognizing David Byrd, the National Director of the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency, and Wilbur Ross, Secretary of Commerce. And I'd also like to congratulate the Minority Enterprise Development Week Hispanic Award winners, Salvador Enriquez, Angelina Garcia, Dawn and Nina Tiaga, and Rosa Santana. A big applause for your very well-deserved recognition. Hispanic Heritage Month is one of my favorite times of the year because this is when we celebrate the many contributions Latinos have made and continue to make to our country. I am one of those who believes that we should celebrate our accomplishments all year round, but I am grateful that we do have this one designated month to do so. Let me explain to you why it's so important to me. I grew up in a bilingual, bicultural household. I was born in Los Angeles, California, to Mexican immigrant parents. And growing up, my mother always taught us to celebrate that duality, being proud to be an American, but also being proud of our cultural heritage. And that was manifested in many ways, but mainly in the food that we ate and the holidays that we celebrated. Whether it be 4th of July or Mexican Independence Day, whether we ate hamburgers and hot dogs or tacos with rice and beans, as kids, my sisters and I always felt like we belonged. And then once I began my career in television as a journalist in the early 1980s in Los Angeles and became more aware of the Latino community, the challenges that they faced, their struggle to overcome adversity, and their drive to succeed, it solidified my own commitment to work to empower our community. Information is power. Education is power. Back then, we were 14 million Hispanics in the US, and now we are over 60 million. So I have been a witness and have documented through my work their growth, not only in numbers, but in political influence, in buying power, in cultural impact, and of course, contributions to our economy. Our roots run deep. Spanish was spoken before English in the US. You see that in the names of cities and streets, not only in the Southwest, but across our country. Latin rhythms have been entertaining Americans for generations, and our food is a staple in American households. Tortillas are more popular than bagels. Salsa is sold more than ketchup, and Americans spend $45 billion a year on Mexican food. You heard it right, $45 billion. But one of the biggest impacts that we have made is to our economy, as consumers, as an integral part of the workforce, and as entrepreneurs. Please bear with me if you already know some of these stats, and if you do, I think it's worth repeating them. Latino buying power has reached $1.7 trillion. If the contribution to gross domestic product by Latinos in the US were its own country, it would be the 8th largest economy in the world. There are almost 5 million Hispanic-owned businesses in the US that employ some 3 million people and contribute $700 billion to the economy. In the last decade, Latino business owners grew 34% compared to 1% for all business owners, and more Latinos than ever are applying for small business loans to launch a business or grow the ones they have. All that in spite of the many barriers that they face in the effort as minorities, as we all know. What has driven the growth is that entrepreneurial spirit that Latinos have, the desire to provide a better life for our families, and sometimes need. With a lack of good paying jobs, many Latinos, especially young Latinos, take matters into their own hands and start their own businesses. In fact, 33% of Latino entrepreneurs are younger than 45, compared to 22% of non-Latino entrepreneurs. But more than anything else, it is their strong work ethic that is so ingrained into our culture. Whether it's a taco truck or a Michelin star restaurant, a gardening service or a major landscape company, a bodega or a supermarket, an accounting business or an investment firm, a construction company or a property development firm, Latinos are continuously working and reaching high for their American dream. We cannot ignore that what our country has been going through the last few months has had a disproportionate impact on people of color, the most infections, the most deaths due to COVID. People of color have lost their jobs in higher numbers or seen their salaries reduced more than others. They struggle more than other communities with online learning for their kids, and many do jobs that cannot be done from the comfort of their home. We must acknowledge and celebrate essential workers who have risked their lives to keep our country going. And we must acknowledge the 29,000 dreamers who have been in the front lines of the pandemic as health workers. 1 in 3 Latino-owned businesses have also been impacted. They have either lost their business or they have seen a significant reduction in revenue. I know that we always hear the phrase, we're all in this together, but let's be honest. Although we're in the same storm, we are not all in the same boat. Some are in yachts, others in sailboats, and others in rickety rafts. We all know that this is temporary and that at some point we will begin to see some type of normalcy in our lives. So the work of MBDA is now more important than ever. I commend you for the work that you do supporting minority entrepreneurship, especially what you do for Latina-owned businesses. They need you now more than ever. And I have no doubt that you will step up and help this community blossom one more time. I do worry about my community and all the hurdles that they are facing during these tough times. But if there's something that gives me peace of mind and hope, is knowing how resilient they can be. They know what it's like to overcome adversity, and they will once again thrive with their hard work ethic, their strong sense of community, and their deep faith. Thank you once again to MBDA for inviting me, and congratulations one more time to all of the honorees. Let's make this Hispanic Heritage Month a special one. Hasta pronto.